Child Tax Credit December. The final Child Tax Credit monthly payment of the year is scheduled to arrive on December 15th for millions of families in the United States if you've signed up to get it via direct deposit. Otherwise, expect to receive it in the mail before the end of the month. The monthly installments have been sent out since July, and the second half of the Child Tax Credit payment will be sent out when you file your tax return in 2022 when the December check arrives. There are now discussions about whether the expanded child tax credit payments should be extended beyond 2022, but nothing has been finalized as of yet. If you've been receiving child tax credit monthly payments since July, you could be eligible for up to $1,800 for each child age 5 and under, or up to $1,500 for each child age 6 to 17. However, if you opt out of the monthly payment plan, you should receive the entire amount at once, up to $3,600 per child. If any payments were missed due to the problems or because you chose to unenroll, they should be included in your tax refund. In today's video, we're going to talk about the child tax credit. I'm going to tell you how much the new child tax credit 2021 is, how you can get it, what guidance the IRS has to offer about it, and whether or not you could be getting another one next summer. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to our channel, click the like button, and watch this video to the end. IRS guidance on child tax credit. The Internal Revenue Service urges individuals to take crucial steps this month to assist them in filing their federal tax returns in 2022, including particular steps relating to the economic impact payments and advanced child tax credit 2021 payments. This is the second in a series of reminders designed to assist taxpayers in preparing for the approaching tax filing season. A dedicated page on irs.gov, which has been updated, explains steps taxpayers may take now to make tax filing easier in 2022. Here are a few crucial points to think about before filing your taxes next year. Families who got an advance payment will need to compare the amount of the child tax credit that they can lawfully claim on their 2021 tax return with the amount of the child tax credit that they received in advance in 2021. Taxpayers who receive less than the full amount of the child tax credit will be able to claim a credit for the remaining amount on their 2021 tax return. When filing, taxpayers who received more than the amount for which they are eligible may be required to reimburse some or all of the extra payment. Advanced Child Tax Credit 2021. The IRS will send letter 6419 in January 2022 with the total amount of the advanced child tax credit payments taxpayers received in 2021. People should save this letter, as well as any other IRS correspondence about the child tax credit payments with their tax records. For further information, see Reconciling Your Advanced Child Tax Credit Payments on your 2021 tax return. Eligible families who did not get monthly advance payments in 2021 can still receive a lump sum payment by claiming the child tax credit on their 2021 federal income tax return the following year. This includes families that would not typically be required to file a tax return. Economic impact payments and recovery rebate credit claim individuals who did not qualify for or did not receive the full amount of the third economic impact payment may be eligible for the recovery rebate credit based on their 2021 tax information. To receive the credit, they must file a 2021 tax return even if they don't regularly do so. Individuals will also require the amount of their third economic impact payment and any plus-up payments received when filing their tax return to calculate their exact 2021 recovery rebate credit amount. Making sure they utilize the exact payment amounts can help them avoid a processing delay, which may cause their refund to be delayed. The IRS will send letter 6475 in early 2022, containing the entire amount of the third economic impact payment and any plus-up payments received. People should save this letter, as well as any other IRS correspondence on the stimulus payments, together with their other tax records. Individuals can also securely access their economic impact payment amounts by logging into their irs.gov online account. For more information, go to irs.gov/RRC. Stimulus payments and direct deposit. Direct deposits allow taxpayers to receive their returns faster than paper checks. Those who do not have a bank account can learn how to open one at an FDIC-insured institution or using the National Credit Union Locator tool. For access to financial services at participating institutions, veterans can consult the Veterans Benefits Banking Program. irs.gov/getready contains links to online tools, publications, other useful information. Future of the child tax credit. There is currently debate in Congress about whether the improved child tax credit payments should be extended past the end of spring 2022. Democrats are scrambling to keep monthly child tax credit deposits coming to homes, hoping to leverage the payment's possible lapse to generate momentum for completing their approximately $2 trillion education, healthcare, and climate measure before the end of December. Unless Congress acts, the Internal Revenue Service monthly payments will cease after next week's contributions as of this writing, bringing an end to the program that has helped millions of households since its inception in July. Aside from that, several lawmakers have made the credit a centerpiece of their campaigns for next year's midterm elections, and they are keen to promote it as soon as possible. The House Democrats passed the $1.75 trillion Build Back Better proposal on November 19, 2021, which would extend the increased child tax credit payments for one additional year. However, this does not mean that it is final, as the Senate must now vote on the bill. When it comes to extending the child tax credit enhanced payments, Congress is expected to reach an agreement by the end of the year, although the House and Senate may not reach an agreement until 2022. What to do if you haven't received a payment yet? If you're missing money from a previous check due to an IRS error or outdated information, it can show up with your December payment. If it doesn't, you have two options. Wait for the problem to be remedied when you submit your taxes or file a payment trace with the IRS. Before you do that, make sure your check isn't already on its way. It's worth noting that if you've added a dependent since your last tax return, the IRS won't have the information on file. If this is the case, you will not get any funds until you file your taxes the following year. Will the payments you got this year affect your taxes in the following year? The child tax credit payments you receive this year may have an impact on your taxes, for better or worse. Here's how it works. You were overpaid and the IRS did not modify the amount on subsequent installments. You'll have to repay this. You received funds for which you did not qualify? You'll have to repay the IRS. Your income changed and you failed to notify the IRS. Depending on whether your income was higher or lower than what the IRS used to calculate your payment, this could result in a larger or lesser tax refund or you owing the IRS. Because you chose to forego the payments of this year, your payout will be higher next year. You were given money for a child who will be 18 by the end of 2021. You could have to repay that money. If you enjoyed this video, check out these videos on your screen that I've selected just for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.